draw closer to the roaring flame that roars like an angry bear in the night. Have you ever wondered the ways of the Modoc? Well, here you will learn where and what they lived in, their beliefs, what they ate, what they wore, and the art they made. Stay tuned and listen closely to find out how they survived in the harsh climate of the western United States. They lived in the California region, which is in California and Oregon. The area was roughly rectangular, from 2,000 to 3,000 square miles. They lived most of the time on the southern shores of Clear Lake and other lakes. They lived there because there was a good supply of fish and seeds from water lilies or yucca plants. To the north was the forest of Ponderosa Pine. To the east was barren land. To the south was lava beds. And to the west was the Klamath River. Lost River runs through their land. The highlands are grassy and the lowlands are marshy. The major bodies of water are the lower Klamath, Goose, Clear, and Tool Lakes. In the spring and summer, they migrated to gather food and set up temporary domed huts near Lost River. They also gathered bird eggs, berries, and roots. They stayed near the Columbia River near Swallow Falls for the duration of the fish runs.
The Modoc lived on the west coast of the plateau in the Lost River Valley. In 1864, the U.S. Army relocated them to the Klamath Indian Reservation. In summer, they lived in teepees. They were built with stretched buffalo skin over a skeleton of 20 to 30 wooden poles.
Now I will tell you about what they ate. Farming was almost unknown to the Modoc, so they hunted for most of their food. Men hunted, although men only hunted and fished, and women collected nuts, berries, like chokecherries, and roots like Indian potato. Some of the things they ate were salmon, deer, pronghorn antelope, bighorn sheep, and birds. Yucca plants was a staple in their diet. They hunted with arrowheads and spears. The spears had 2 heads, and the arrowheads were carved out of obsidian rock. They also made fishing nets made of tool reed weighed down with obsidian and long poles for people to grab. They also caught waterfowl in the nets. They made boats and rafts out of tool reeds and sturdier canoes by burning and scraping logs. So as you can see, they hunted a lot for most of their food.
The Modoc made their own clothes. Men made theirs out of softened porcupine quills and braided fur, which they sometimes scraped the fur off of deer or their tails and braided it. The women made their clothes out of softened porcupine quills, beads, and corn husk. Grandmothers and mothers made their children or grandchildren very decorative costumes for very different celebrations.
The Modoc did not have very many people in the late 70s. They had 1,200 to 2,000 in all 21 villages. They were loosely organized by bands. Each band had a leader or laqui. The laqui were supposed to make good judgments based on the tribe's beliefs. Usually men were laqui, but sometimes women were. They did not pray to spirit helpers, but instead prayed to the sun, moon, stars, mountains, lakes, rivers, and animals. They believed that Kumakumix created the world. He made it like weaving a basket. He first made the animals, and then he made the tribes of people. He said women will dig for roots, get wood, water, and cook. Men will hunt, fish, and fight. signs of death, like if they were followed around by a barking fox or coyote, or if they killed a young bull snake, or there was a owl herd hooting at night near their house. Sometimes they attacked other tribes. The fight might include some neighbor warriors on their side. They usually fought against the Pit River Indians, the Paiutes, the Apache, and the Shasta Indians. Gambling is a passion to the Modoc, but they only gambled in spring when there is a lot of food. The dice were made out of beaver teeth. Everything a man owned could be gambled away. Ceremonies marked major events such as death, marriage, and vision quests. Adolescent children would go into the wilderness and reflect. For marriage, parents chose a girl the boy would marry. The boy and the wife would live with the parents until they had a few children born. Then they would build their own house.
Some natural resources the Modoc used for art were plants, their baskerity techniques. They grew both tulle and barlage to make seed catchers, bowls, and hats. These hats were no hot and sweaty heads. These bowls were either seed containers or eating bowls. They used seed catchers by hitting plants and then catching the seeds that were falling. We learned where the Modoc lived, how they made their houses, where they got their food, how they got their food, where they hunted, what their clothes were made out of, what natural resources they used for art, and what they made out of their art, about their daily life and their family. The hard part was getting all the notes written on paper. The easy part was putting it all into a speech. We learned a lot about the Modoc tribe and hope